Hi, my name is Wes Warnhoff, and I'm the clarinet professor here at the University of Missouri. Today I wanted to talk to you about the Missouri All-State Audition repertoire for clarinet, and this year we're looking at Set 4. The first portion of the repertoire I want to perform for you today are the different scalar studies, and this includes your B major thirds, your broken chords, and your various patterns of the tonic chord in B major and G sharp minor. Let's go through each of them individually and discuss a few tips and tricks. Let's start with B major and thirds. This can be an awkward key to play in because if you don't have this fancy D sharp, F sharp key on the left, there's really only one correct way to play your thirds, to play these thirds. As we ascend these thirds, I would pencil in an R above the clarion C sharp to indicate we need to play that on the right. Let me show you where that note is. And after you rehearse with this fingering with the C sharp on the right many times, you won't need that mark, but it's always good to have a reminder when you're playing under pressure. And this will set you up to play your B on the left and then arrive at your D sharp on the right. Again, if you have the left hand D sharp, F sharp key, then you're free to play it as you like. As always with these exercises, practice slowly and correctly, and make sure that when you go to perform this in your audition, you know exactly what tempo you want to play it at, and go no faster. Let's hear what B major and thirds sounds like. Next, let's look at the broken chords. With these, the main thing I want to stress is breathing. There are no great places to breathe in this excerpt, so I would just plan to breathe at the different key changes. The one thing you don't want to do is breathe inside of the keys or worse, the slurs, and give this feeling of being panicked, out of breath, or unprepared. Depending on how fast you go, I would just take a nice deliberate breath after every 4 measures. This will show the judge that you're prepared, that you understand what this excerpt is addressing musically. It will also allow you to stay calm and play with your best sound. One specific trick for these broken chords that you can use in this part of the audition is to use your 1 and 1 B flat when you are playing your B flat major arpeggio. And this is the third line. This will allow you to go faster and be more consistent since you are coming from an F. And this motion is just quite a bit simpler. So let me show you what that looks like coming from F to B flat 1 and 1. It's literally just 1 and 1 B flat. It will make it so much easier for you. Here are the broken chords. Next, I want to talk about the various patterns in B major and G sharp minor. This is another clunky excerpt if you do not have the extra left-hand E flat lever, pinky left-hand lever on your clarinet. My clarinet does have this key right here. You can maybe see it. But today I'm going to pretend it doesn't to help you all through this because I think most of us don't. If you do have this key, this excerpt is not quite as tricky and you have more options to perform this. First, let's learn a new fingering though for high D sharp, and I would recommend using this fingering for all the high D sharps in this excerpt. And the fingering is this. It's thumb register, 2-3 in the left hand, and 3 in the right hand with the E flat booster key. So it'll sound like this. Thumb register, 2-3, 3 E flat. And this is actually the fingering that you use at the beginning of Brahms' first sonata, and it will work really well here. The only thing to look out for with this fingering is that it can be a bit flat at times, so be sure to keep your tongue high. The next thing I want to do in this excerpt is to mark a few tricky spots. And we'll put them in the music and we'll talk through them. In the third measure, you're going to have to use a bad fingering, some bad pinky work at some point, so let's pick the spot that gives us the best chance to be successful. I would go left-left from the G sharp to the B natural. It's awkward but doable, and if you clip the G sharp, it should give you a good chance of success. Let me show you what that sounds like. So right there, I'm short on the G sharp, and then I quickly jump to the B. Rep that as many times as you need to where it feels really comfortable. You'll have to do the same thing in the following measure, where I go from left B to the G sharp on the left as well. And I use that same clipped style to give me that extra split second to make my fingers jump. As always, be sure that you're going a tempo that's comfortable for you. Don't try to play this at the audition faster than you've rehearsed. Take a deep breath and pick a tempo where you know you can play it correctly. A person who executes their audition with minimal mistakes at a slightly slower tempo will always sound better than someone who's going fast and trying to be as flashy as possible, but is very sloppy. So let's hear how it sounds. Row 17 offers you a chance to show off your musicality and sense of pulse control. When you are first learning this etude, make sure you are regularly using a metronome to keep yourself honest. I encourage you to use the quarter note and eighth note pulse to help you with some of these trickier subdivisions. Once you think you can perform it perfectly with a metronome, then you can have a bit more freedom in the melismatic or faster sections. A good game that I like to play when I'm learning repertoire is that once I think I can nail a piece or an etude, I record it, and then I try to clap along with my pulse. And if your pulse is predictable and easy to clap along with, then it's probably in really good shape. And if there's spots where you're clapping and you're lost, then the audience or the judge is probably confused as well. This etude can also feel long and tiring, so plan your breathing really well. Try to breathe at phrase endings, and if you're not sure where to breathe, no worries, just watch the video and mark where I took my breaths. I planned them out pretty well, I think. Lastly, have fun and be expressive with this etude. This is an opportunity to sing through the instrument and show multiple different characters. Be sweet at the opening and be angry at measure 22. You can even write your own narrative to this etude if you like. Enjoy my take on row 17. Lastly, let's talk about Rose 26. With this etude, I think it's extremely important to work with slow, deliberate practice. This is a fast etude, and there are no quick tricks that can help you learn something like this. Start extremely slow with a metronome, and don't speed up until you can play it 3 times in a row perfectly. And when I say slow, I mean really slow. You should start practicing at a tempo that's not difficult for you. You shouldn't be missing notes when you're practicing. And here's what I mean when I say slow. I'll show you. If I were you, I would start at 40 and see if you can play it perfectly. And continue on like that. You also don't need to play the whole thing all at once. Break it into smaller sections to make it more digestible. If you practice like this, you'll engrave good habits that will help you under the pressure of your auditions. Some small details about this one that I would mark in. I would mark an L for left pinky on the Clarinet C in measure 2. So that's right here. As well as the Clarinet C in measure 19. I would also try to play this excerpt with 3 breaths, which I know sounds crazy. The beginning, after the B in measure 5, and at the quarter note rest in measure 12. As always, if you need more breaths, that's no problem. Just plan them out and mark them. Finally, make a note of the repeat sign in measure 12. The proctor at your audition will tell you if it's necessary or not, and usually you'll perform these things with cuts, so just be flexible. Let's hear what Rose 26 sounds like. I hope this has helped you get ready for your upcoming audition, and I wish you all the best in your preparation. If you would like more information about the Clarinet Studio here at the University of Missouri, you can contact me via email, which can be found at the University of Missouri School of Music website or in the description below. Good luck and happy practicing.